I often hear about 60 to 70% of athletes, especially in the track and field niche, talk about building a base for their sprint speed. This base training usually consists of a lot of long running and a lot of slow lifting. Obviously, the story was 5 to 7 years ago. Now that I'm a strength and conditioning coach and I've been training for some years now, I can tell you why building a base for your sprint speed is a terrible idea and why all the cross country running I was doing on top of trying to sprint faster was one of the worst things I could have ever done. If you listen to the framework I'm about to give you for how much you should be sprinting and running to improve your athleticism, I promise you, you will not be a slow, injured athlete like I was as a sophomore. This breakdown is going to split your training into 3 categories. Acceleration-based work, this also pairs very well with just max vertical jump training. Max velocity work, this also pairs well with 1-foot jump training. And speed endurance sessions, this also pairs well with extensive plyometric training. Now, all 3 of these categories are only gonna be trained 1 time per week, and the volume you're doing is much less than you think. For acceleration-based workouts, it's exactly what you think it is. We're improving our 0 to 10 to 20 yards worth of sprinting. When we're doing acceleration-based sprints, we're only going to be going up to a maximum of 250 meters worth of sprinting. This is not sprinting for 250 meters straight. The amount of volume I use for my athletes who have ran 10.4 and sub 11 to 100 meter is usually going to be about 120 meters to 200 meters worth of sprinting. An example of an acceleration session I would do for someone who ran sub 11 would be 6 times 20 meters of 10 to 20% of your body weight in resisted sprints. If you don't have the resistance for a sled, you could use a band or a hill. Now, the next category is going to be max velocity. And when it comes to how much max velocity sprinting we're gonna be doing, this is a lot less than you think. It's usually only gonna be around 80 meters to 150 meters. And obviously the best way to train max velocity is gonna be longer sprints. So it can either be 30 to 40 meter sprints, right? So doing 3 to 4 sets of 40-meter sprints. By the way, I'm saying meters a lot. You can also just use yards. It doesn't really matter. Or an example of what we do in the Speed Academy would usually be a flying 10, where you build up for about 10 to 20 yards and then go maxed out in a vertical position for 10 to 20 yards straight. And the sets and reps we'll do for this is about 8 to 10 sets of one flying 10 with a lot of rests in between every flying 10. I feel like I'm wording this weird. All it is you're doing a flying 10 8 to 10 times with a lot of rests in between every single rep. Obviously, you want to pair these type of workouts with plyometric and posterior chain-based lifting. Now, if you just play basketball or soccer or football, you don't really need this next portion. All you really need is max velocity and acceleration. But if you're a track and field athlete specifically, or maybe a soccer athlete, then this portion is really important for you as well. This third category, like we said earlier, is called speed endurance. The endurance you've been taught all this time is developing slow twitch muscle fibers. We want to improve endurance and improve fast twitch muscle fibers at the same time. So to do this, we're going to do long sprints for max intensity with high rest. For example, this could be a 60-meter sprint all the way up to a 400-meter sprint with at least 5 to 10 minute rest in between every set. Which all this means is if you're slowing down during the 200 meter by a significant amount, then we're developing slow twitch muscle fibers and we're probably developing the wrong type of endurance. We want to develop speed endurance. So once your time starts dropping off, then just stop. This is how we develop well-rounded speed in my training system called the elastic base training. And none of my training in my elastic base training is going to involve slow aerobic work, which is just jogging or running or swimming for hours and hours and hours, unless you're completely in season or a month or 2 out of preseason. So like the title of this video probably is, if you want to run faster, you need to stop running so much. If you want to transform your sprint speed and overall explosiveness, improve strength, nutrition, hop on the private Discord we have, get on the Speed Academy right here, and YouTube's gonna suggest you the best video you should watch next.